Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Charity, and in this video I just wanted to walk you through a simple budget. I had a couple of questions about how to create a budget or how to start a budget, so I decided to just write this simple budget out for someone who is not familiar with budgeting. And just to make it easy, I just thought I would show you how I would do my budget if I was working and getting paid every 2 weeks. So I've worked and got paid. I get paid every week right now and also every 2 weeks. So I'm familiar with both. So when I get paid every 2 weeks, and when I was only getting paid every 2 weeks, I would break up my payments over the two pay periods. So I would pay half one pay week or one paycheck, and then I would pay the other half out the other paycheck. It just depends on when the bill is due and the amount. Because sometimes some of the bills, or depending on what the expense is, I would just go ahead and pay the full amount during that pay week. So for someone who's not used to budgeting, what I would do is I would write down what my two paychecks, the amount would be. If you have, if your salary, then you pretty much know what your paychecks are, what they normally are. So I will put those here. If not, you can leave those blank for now. And I will also put the date. So I will put paycheck number 1 and put the date, and paycheck 2 and put the date, so that your due dates you want to keep in mind when you're looking at when you're actually getting paid, because you don't want to end up with a late payment or something like that. So first things first, you want to write out your expenses, and I just put down some basic expenses. You can add whatever you need to add to it, like childcare, whatever else you put out during the month that's a fixed expense, things that you know you're going to have to pay every month. So here I just have rent, utilities, car payment, car insurance, cable, internet, phone, any subscriptions. Most of us have subscriptions and they are due monthly, and credit cards. So if you have more than one credit card, you definitely want to list each credit card out, so that you know the due date and the amount of those. So once you list your expenses out, then you have your due dates. So you want to write your due dates out, and then you'll put the amount that's due. So once you write your amount down, you're going to add up the amount. In this case, the amount is $14.59. So that is what your monthly expenses will end up being, $14.59. So we know that we're putting out $14.59 a month. So you can already say you can divide that in half if you want to, or just go ahead and write out your pay week. So you have paycheck number 1, paycheck number 2. So once you divide everything in half, like if your rent is $750, you'll do paycheck 1, $375, paycheck 2, $375, and that should equal $750. So just by looking at this, adding everything up, you know that, so this will tell you that paycheck 1, you will spend $729.50 for that week, and then the same for the next week, because we just divided this in half, and all our expenses, once you add them up for that one pay period, will be $729.50, and same for pay week 2. Hope that makes sense. I hope I'm not confusing you. It's pretty simple. Once you do it a couple of times, it's pretty simple. And then you want to keep in mind your variable expenses. So your variable expenses are things that you pay, or that you purchase throughout the month, and you want to make sure you keep those in mind, because the total amount that you spend for expenses will be added to what your variables are going to be. So you have your expenses and your variables that you want to keep in mind of. So monthly, you're paying out $14.59 for your bills, your fixed expenses, which are mainly your bills. And then your variables, let's say you have groceries, gas, car maintenance, household, and personals. Based on how I wrote these variables out, it's a total of $195. However, these are variables because this changes. So like car maintenance for the month, you may not have to have any car maintenance for the month, but you can still add the $40 in and just put it in your cash envelopes or your savings so that you do have it. It's up to you. You don't have to. You can, if you know you don't have car maintenance for the month. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen with our cars, but for the most part, if you don't have like an oil change due, you don't need tires or anything, you can pretty much take the car maintenance off of the month and then add the other expenses. And that's why these are variables, because these aren't expenses. Well, most of these are expenses that we probably would have during the month, but some of your variables you won't. So based on this 195, you'll divide this up over the 2 pay periods as well, and this average out to $97.50. So when you add the $729.50 plus the $97.50 weekly, you will be paying out $827. And then you'll take that $827 and subtract it from whatever your paycheck amount end up being here, and then you can determine how much you have left over to add to savings or whatever else you may need to you could put it in some cash envelopes or put it in a savings account, or even you may have more variables that you can add to your list here. But for the most part, you just want to make sure you are listing your expenses, you know, the due date, so that they match up with your pay period, so that you're not gonna be behind or late on anything. Once you start doing this, everything should be fine. You shouldn't end up, you know, falling behind on anything. And then you want to add your amounts here, the total expense amount here, $14.59, and then you're gonna break that up over the 2 weeks. And then you'll add your variables the same way. You'll divide them over the 2 weeks, add those up, and then you'll combine those two amounts and get your total that you'll be spending for that week. And then you'll subtract that total from your total amount that you're getting paid. So like I said, I like to pay mine to my due date so that I'm not falling behind or I won't be late on anything, just by looking at the pay weeks. So make sure you're putting your dates here. So if you get paid on the 1st, I will put the 1st, and if you get paid on the 1st and 15th, I will put the 1st here and the 15th here, so that I can make sure by, you know, the 1st my rent is paid, by the 5th, you know, my utilities is paid, because if you're waiting until the 15th, then you know, these items will be late if you wait, if you're not looking at your dates and you know how your paychecks are falling. So that's why you want to make sure you have a calendar and you can look and see how your paychecks are falling and what your due dates are for your expenses. So again, like the car payment is due on the 20th. So that'll be fine to pay here on the 15th. And then like your subscriptions will be fine when you're paying here on the 15th. You know, you have it till that long to pay that. So it'll be fine. But yeah, you just want to be mindful of your due dates when you are making your payments as well. But for the most part, like I said, you can figure out what your expenses are, the amounts, and break those up over 2 weeks. I like to do it this way because waiting 2 weeks to get paid is a long time. So if I'm breaking this up and out of my paycheck, let's say your paycheck is $1,100. Let's just say $1,100 every 2 weeks, or for this paycheck one, then I'm paying $827 out of this paycheck. So then I'll calculate to see how much I have left, and that's just based on, you know, us dividing everything by 2. I would just look and see how much I have left over here. I mean, it, you know, depending on your expenses, this changes. But you can decide how much you have left, if you want to save it, if you want to, you know, invest it, put it in some cash envelopes, put it in a bank account. You know, you might have some additional variables you need to add in. But that is the easiest way that I can say to do a biweekly budget. And I hope this makes sense, and I hope this helps you out. And if you have any questions, just leave any comments or questions in the comment section. Again, thank you everyone for your support. Thank you for supporting my channel. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, if this is something you're interested in, saving challenges, I'm on my debt-free journey. I'm saving to purchase a home. If these are anything that you are interested in, please subscribe to my channel and join my YouTube family. And again, I appreciate everyone's support, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye.